All right, so we're out here at the MGM. We're getting ready for UFC 91. Hard to keep track of, so many cards, but Gabe Gonzaga is here with us. How are you?
Good, good.
All right, so what have you been doing last few months since the win over McCulley?
Training, keeping training hard, and teaching my students in Massachusetts at a Team Link. You know, we have a couple of students there developing and keeping training and coaching.
You work mostly with people who are just coming in to try to learn the sport, do it for fitness, or are you actually working with fighters to actually train fighters for the future?
I train fights to the future too. We have a couple of fighters there, like Karim Gregorian, Rick Punch. The guy is undefeated, but in small tournaments, small competition. It's not like a UFC, but it's a good events too.
How is the sport starting to take off in Massachusetts? Because obviously it's huge in Brazil. It's a kind of a West Coast sport, Midwest sport in the United States. How's it starting to take off up in the Northeast?
It's growing a lot. Has a lot of small tournaments happening there. You know, it's a huge possibility to come to New York next year or a couple of years. And if this happens, gonna be even bigger. And we are, you know, hoping keeping growing like that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the McCulley fight a little bit because I thought it was interesting. Of all the fight cards I've covered, I thought it was one of the more brutal finishes. Just because of the torque you had on. I think you had a Kimura on. Am I right on that one?
Yep.
What's it like in there when you have a hold on another guy who's 250 pounds? I mean, you look like you're in a position to literally rip his arm off.
Yeah, if he didn't tap, it can happen because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the most efficacious grappling game because it has a lot of submissions in the joints, and we broke the joints. But when the guy feel pain, he asks to stop and to be safe. And this is the most popular in Brazil is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. As you have the hold on there, is there a point where even you were like, this guy better tap? Because now I'm starting to feel uncomfortable because I'm really going to hurt him. Did you start to feel bad for him? Because, I mean, you really look like you yanked that thing. Like, I haven't seen anyone yank a Kimura.
No. Yeah. The game is, like, of course, you get excited because you need to finish the fight as soon as possible because you never know what the guy gonna do after that. If he escape from there, what's gonna happen? And in that time, we always put the hard part. You know, put all the power to finish it as soon as possible.
Have you had it happen in the past where maybe you didn't cinch in and really drive home a finish and maybe the guy came back to be competitive? You ever made a mistake like that before by taking it too easy on a guy and not finishing?
I never did because I come from small tournaments like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this teaching them keeping going, but don't need break, but don't need be easy too.
Right.
You know, so one time arm of one guy in the competition popped out because the guy didn't tap, and this is feel weird because you feel the arm pop out, you know. But you know, it's part of the game. If you know what you're doing, you tap when you feel something, and to stop, to be safe, to keep in training, fighting soon.
All right, so what's your mindset now, just with your career? Because you had a couple of losses, and you come back and beat McCulley, and I'm sure you were disappointed in the losses. You suffered a broken nose kind of early on, and it threw you off your game against Couture, and then the Verdum fight was just kind of weird. You got caught, and then just kind of couldn't get back into it. So how do you feel you are now with that win under your belt and those two losses behind you?
I feel I'm still UFC. You know, put my heart there and put my time to get time again, to get another title shot. You know, I think when I deserve the title shot, the UFC gonna give me. I come from one winning. My plan is keeping winning, and as soon as possible, they send something like a title shot to me or huge fights. You know, because main events, because step by step, this is gonna happen if you keep winning.
Right. Did you see what happened recently to Fabricio Verdum with his contract and the fact that he's out of the UFC?
I hear about. I didn't know inside of the business what's going on, but I hear about something.
So how does that make you feel? You lost to him. See, I think the thing now in UFC is not only do you have to win, you may have to win in entertaining fashion because there's so many fighters out there and so much competition. Maybe it's a little extra pressure to go out and really deliver good shows because they have so many options to choose from.
This not make me any pressure because I am a fighter. I always try finish the fight. Yeah. I'm not worried about lose or win, but my worry is give you a good show, give you my best inside. And I believe when I give my best, I get more wins than loses. Right. And this not make me any pressure because I feel comfortable to do what I like to do.
So Gabriel's fighting on this card against a guy making his UFC debut. You're fighting Josh Hendricks. Yeah. Is that a little different than fighting someone? He may not be at the same level as some of the other guys we mentioned. Maybe he is. But is it different fighting a guy who maybe you don't have as much tape on, you haven't seen in person?
Yes, get a little bit difficult to study his game. But my game plan is always keeping my training hard, yeah. Keeping my training high level, and study a little bit what I get a couple tapes of him, study him, and put my best show inside there. This is my game plan. I always put better and better techniques and motivation to keep him fight well and still good with good shows.
So you don't really game plan too much for his game? Because I know his background, he sounds like he's more of a wrestling background type guy. Does that matter, or you go in, you execute what you need to do?
No, like I say, always I try be wherever the fight go, I need to be prepared to be there. But of course, he's a wrestling guy. We studied this a little bit to put inside this next fight. But the principle is not there, the focus is not there. But of course, you give some attention to this too.
All right, well, thanks. Good luck in the fight.
Thank you very much.